Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. So I was in my local gun shop this past week, just asking if they had anything cool or interesting come in, just to see if there's anything fun to review. And they said a poor gentleman came in and his wife told him to sell about half of his collection.
Yes, very sad. Anyway.
So I picked up a Smith & Wesson M&P Shield Plus. This is the brand new Plus model. It is just a standard, not the Performance Center. He didn't have one of those. However, this one I got for an insane discount. Never been fired, but is considered used. So pretty sweet. Wasn't really thinking about picking one of these up. What I'd normally carry is a SIG P365. Holds 12 rounds. Also has a 10-round mag and a 15-round mag. But before that, about 10 years ago, I started carrying a Smith & Wesson M&P 9 Shield. The original slim single stack 8-rounders. And they come in 7 rounds for the flush. At the time, this was a revolutionary pistol, single stack, 9mm, 8 rounds, super slim. And then the 365 came along, and they basically took that same idea of a slim 9mm, but redesigned the magazine to optimize and kind of make it a, not really a double stack, but like a 1.5 stack. Just kind of stagger the rounds in there a little bit better, really use up that grip space in there, in that mag well. And then you come along a few years later after the 365 with the brand new Shield Plus. Again, this is brand new, and this video is gonna be more of a first shots video. 13-round mags in the same footprint of what used to be an 8-round mag. Just a little bit wider, and it makes it so the Shield itself, and we'll go in more depth on a full review here once I get a ton of rounds through her. The Shield itself is almost identical to the original. Little bit wider, which is a good thing, because one of the things I did not like about the Shield after testing out things like the 365 is that the Shield, I think, is just so slim. So I put some Talon rubber grips on here, but just holding this, being of course brand new, with a little bit better stippling, a little bit more of a lighter finish for the slide color there, almost like a matte gray, almost, or matte black, almost like a gray color. The grip feels so much better, so I'm excited to shoot this. I have brand new, again, never been fired, not even a scratch on it, 13-round mag. Comes with a flush fit 10-round mag, which was the original footprint, except a little bit wider than the original 7-rounders. Also, you'll notice safety. Standard on these. I think they do have one without a safety, but most of them come with a little click safety. Pretty easy to adjust. And a brand new trigger. No more little pivot trigger right here. Flat trigger. And I think it's phenomenal. I think it's way better than the original. Also, the slide's a little easier to manipulate. Yeah, I think it's a little crisper than the original. So overall, I'm pretty happy with it. Again, the grip itself is really nice. The actual mag release seems about to be the same. Slide release, takedown, everything else seems to be the same. So let's load up 2 mags and let's continue on with our first shots of the Shield Plus. So like I mentioned, this is going to be a first look, kind of my initial impression of the Shield Plus. And then after maybe a few more range sessions, we'll come back and I'll talk about more on the Shield Gen 1, the P365, and then the Shield Plus, and what are my thoughts, how it shoots once I get a lot more rounds through it. But let's go and do our first shots here. History in the making. Never fired the Shield Plus. And we're gonna try some paper. You know, we always shoot steel. Maybe I'll throw a couple rounds over there, but I think the slide is a little bit easier to manipulate. The Shield, the Gen 1, was always a little stiff which wasn't really good for anyone with weak hands. But this one seems a little bit more easy to manipulate. Mag goes in just fine. 13 rounds. Let's see what we got. I like it so far. Yep, I can get behind this one. So one other thing I noticed with this, I mentioned before, is that grip feels a little better. I don't know if it's the stippling or the fact that it's just like a hair wider than the original Shield. But one of the things that was a problem with the Shield, at least for me, was it was kind of slippery. There wasn't really a lot of good texture to the grip on the original Gen 1. That fixed it. This fixed it with that kind of texture to it, but it's not too aggressive like some other, like maybe the Smith & Wesson Compact 2.0 or the CZP-10C. It's not overly aggressive. It's almost perfect. Slide release works good. This is the 10-round flush. You can see that there. So far, all the rounds are perfect in the middle. There's a bunch of 5.56 holes on there that I marked off. It's kind of goofing off with some training. Put a video up on Instagram for that if you guys are interested. Yep, even with that little bit of hang time for your pinky when you're holding it, this one vastly improves the Gen 1. Let's take a look at this target real quick. And that is solid for a micro 9mm, a Wonder 9. Look at that. No flyers. Trigger was beautiful. Very nice. Let's load some more mags up. Smith & Wesson really put some thought into these mags. I want to say it's definitely easier to load than the Gen 1. Look at that, it's 10 round. Even the 10th round was easy. Definitely easier to load than Gen 1, but dare I say, I think it was actually easier than the SIG 365 there. Yeah, that's not bad. These 10 rounders are usually pretty tough to load that last 10th round on there. Step back a ways. Let's see if we can hit some of that steel. Now I know what you're gonna ask, but does it work with the Shield Gen 1 and that Gen 2 2.0 holsters? Yep. Sure does. Very similar size to the original. So Kydex custom fit holsters like this one right here for IWB fit like a glove. I think I love the 13 round mags the most. The box for this new Shield Plus is just a typical cardboard Smith & Wesson box, a little compartment for the magazine. Again, this one's brand new. It even came with the original plastic wrap. The lock, manual, little safety. Again, pristine, brand new. Smith & Wesson, I guess, is trying to get into the social media game a little bit more. Magazines. You have your 10 rounder, flush fit. A little bit harder to hold with that, unless you get a little pinky extension, which they do sell. I actually had one originally for my 7 rounders. I don't know where that mag went, but there's a pinky extension you can get. I'm sure they have the same one here. Now I will say these mags are only usable with the Plus, all right? And then same for these. These won't run because They may look like they have the same notches and everything. However, you can see just the difference in how thick they are, how wide they are.
That's what she said.
They're just not going to run. They are not interchangeable, but that's okay because this is a totally revolutionary design, and they're going to discontinue the old Shield because this is just so much more improved. And again, almost the exact same footprint with some noticeable upgrades, especially that trigger. That trigger is so much better. But look what they did. They really just widened the grip a little bit, which is honestly a bonus because I needed that. This one is not as fun to shoot, and we'll talk about that and also comparison to the 365 in the next video. So make sure you subscribe. Keep an eye out for that. Should be up here pretty soon. Probably run out about 500 more rounds through it. But a little bit wider mag well, but not that much. And I do like these 13 rounders. Fit the hand really well. Slide. I do think a little easier. This one was always a little tough, especially for like the wife. She always complained it was a little hard to pull back. This one I think is about maybe half. It's little serrations up top here too. Little window, view round, ejector. Easy to manipulate slide release, which I can't remember. I think this one was kind of difficult. Yeah, this one's a little bit more difficult. Safety. You can still rack a slide, but you can't pull the trigger. Safety's the same thing here. Looks like a little bit of an extended mag release. That trigger. Kind of a flat trigger. Very nicely done, honestly. And this is the stock. And they did have a performance center, one of the PC versions, which does have a high vis. And it has a little bit better trigger based, I think, on the Apex trigger. And it also has a ported barrel. I almost went with that, but because that was new, this was used. Poor guy. This was a lot less to get this than the Performance Center even. And I think that was a good deal because this trigger is just fine. Take a look. So you have depress right here on the safety. It lets you get past the safety bar right here. Pretty smooth. Hit a wall. And your brakes right there. No mush, no springy feel. A little gritty. But, again, for a Wonder 9, short reset. I love it. Excellent trigger. Even this was a good trigger back in the day, honestly. Yeah, that slide is definitely hard to pull back. You have to hit it at the right spot here to get rid of that bar. Heavier trigger. Harder wall to break through. Yeah, not as good. Improved trigger, for sure. I'll have to get more of these 13 rounders. And honestly, I'll probably start carrying this. I'm going to get an appendix rig, very much similar to my P365, and have this in the rig, and then also a spare 13 rounder, because these 13 rounders are almost the same size, a little bit bigger, maybe a little bit taller than the 12 rounders for the P365. And then sometimes I'll carry the 15 rounders for the 365. And these almost match the 15 rounders, so it's, I don't know, a little bit big, honestly, because I don't like carrying the 15 rounders as much because this long base plate kind of gets a little tall. It's actually taller than the firearm when it's in the appendix rig. So something to note there. But also the 365 is a little bit smaller than the Shield Plus. So note that right there, just a little bit. So I'm being eaten up by a horsefly here. So I'll probably start carrying this, put a bunch more rounds through it, get back to you guys on what my final thoughts are on the Shield Plus, and if it's going to replace my SIG 365 as my go-to concealed carry. But let's put a couple rounds through her. Man, that trigger is awesome. Okay, I really do like it. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. I will do a full review and compare live fire and also concealed carry on the SIG 365. The original Shield Gen 1, I'm not going to carry that because that's an outdated model now at this point, but I have carried that for a few years before the SIG 365 came out. Going to do a full review, probably about 500 rounds in. Talk about any reliability issues because you do want to test a firearm thoroughly before you conceal carry it. But thanks so much for watching, guys. Again, subscribe to the channel, it really helps me out. Head on over to Instagram, follow me there, like us on Facebook for all the latest and greatest deals on the internet. Leave a comment below if you have any questions, and I'll see you guys in the next review. Why are you falling down? Why? It's not even windy.